Luke and Nick are going to help us demonstrate the changes that we put in place for 2013 on the Waterfowler blind. So when you take your blind out of the bag, you'll find the soft goods rolled around the frame pieces, and on the very outside is your actual shooting panel. The way we recommend to always start building your frame is to take these two frame base pieces, and you'll notice when you look at these that they've got some set screws on one side, and you always face the set screws towards the inside of your frame. You'll notice on the cross members on the blind that about half of them have color coding on the end of the cross piece. We've got green, yellow, red, and orange. It's important to pay attention to the matching the colors up. Some of them don't have any colors, and we'll show you where those pieces go as well. So starting out with your two cross members on the bottom, those are not color coded. And again, you notice the guys have faced the screws towards the inside. Yeah, those set screws right there need to be facing in. As we put our bolts together on the blinds, we hand tighten them until we're completely assembled. Then we can level it up and go around with the cordless gun and tighten up all the bolts. Next thing you want to do is build your hoop sections, and these are numbered. So if you follow along with the numbering system, you can see the number 1 on the base piece and the number 6 there, and just follow 1 through 6 to build this hoop. One to one. Six to six. And on around. And now we're going to put one of our first cross members on there, and this will be green. So if you see where Lucas is fastening that, you got a green color code on the number 5 hoop, and you have green on the horizontal. Horizontal, there's 2 swing braces. We call them swing arms, and on that green bar you swing them down to connect them on the outside of the hoop. You see the orange tape on the horizontal matching up with the number 2 hoop and the orange on the hoop. Then your other orange bar goes on the inside of the hoop. And the purpose of that second orange bar is for the to provide a channel for the outer windows to slide up and down inside. Now we're going yellow to yellow. Luke is just installing the door side of that horizontal. We use a shorter bolt on that door side so that there's nothing there to catch your clothes or your hat when you're walking in through the door. Now the next horizontal that goes on is not color coded, right at the hoop, the number 3 location on the hoop there. Another one without any color coding in the very top center, right on the ridge. And then one last hoop section that goes just about 6 inches down towards the shooting panel from the top center. The verticals ship in 2 pieces because of the shipping constraints on the package size, so we splice these back together. You remove the set screw, And the hole is pre-drilled in the stub piece there. You line up the hole and reinstall the set screw, and we like to install this vertical on the window end on the inside of the hoop. It makes it easier to stake the blind out in the field. The small angled brace with the red tape on it goes over to attach onto the hoop, where right under the red tape there you can see where Nick is attaching that. Now you'll notice when you go to finish bolting up this vertical brace, it looks like it's not long enough. But what you need to do is pull down on the hoops and spring load them a little bit, and that'll add a bunch of strength and take out any vibration or any rattling noise. It just firms your blind frame up very nicely. Okay, now we'll go to the door end. Okay, now we're going to assemble the door vertical. First of all, you'll notice that it's got door written on it, so you know which one you're working with here. The other way to tell is that there's two 5/16 holes that are drilled in the door tube for the hinge bolts, and we'll be using those in a minute. Line up the holes and then reinstall your screw. And you watch this angle brace that's got the red tape on it. It goes from the bottom of the door vertical over to the hoop. And again, you'll see that it looks like it's about 1 inch too short. But by pulling down on the hoop and spring loading it somewhat, you'll get it to fit perfect. If you look at each joint in the hoop, you'll see that where the joints are made, there's a set screw on the bottom of the joint. And to really firm the blind up, you should add one on the top of the joint, and that'll keep them from ever tending to want to come apart at that joint. Now we're going to put part of the door frame together on the door end here. You take the horizontal on the bottom of the door, take that bolt off, and bolt it up to the vertical.
I'll put that brace on.
The cross brace fits on the outside. The two eye bolts would be above it on the tubular frame. Now we're going to take the eye bolts, insert them into the pre-drilled holes on the door frame of the blind. And this creates your hinge for your door.
The last part of the frame we're going to install is a drop-away shooting panel. And on this horizontal, the swing arms go down so they don't interfere with your shooting area. Now we can go around, we got all the frame members pretty much assembled. We can go around and tighten up all our bolts. We use a 1/2 inch drive socket.
What I like to do first is the 3 bolts here, which I call the vertical, and the diagonal. Just squares it up.
And as you can see, when Luke is tightening these up, he just needs to hold the nut with his fingers. And we've simplified the latching mechanism on the waterfowl panel, and I'm going to demonstrate this before. I want to come inside here and get a view of it before we hook it up. Put the blankets on it, but you can see a stud protruding out from there. And we just slightly push this up behind that and catch it. And the same thing with this one here. And then when it's time to actuate the panel, all it takes is just a click down.
Now they're going to install the bungee cords. You simply loop the bungee around the hoop, bring it back over to the other end, and the bungee has a hook on the end of it. So once you've got it looped, you just stretch it over to the other hoop, wrap it around, and clip the hook.
Well, I mean, if you have it down here, we can load it here and save me a little time.
Now it's important to notice where the bungees are positioned between the horizontal bars.
On these aluminum arch braces, there's a catch on the end of them that catches on the horizontals. And when you install these, and Luke will show you how to do it here, you want the bungee cord to be on the outside of the arch brace. So thread it in there. There you go. And this will just help hold your proper shape on your blankets. It's easiest to put the windows in before the outer blankets go on. You notice Nick is sliding the window in between the two horizontals. That's the channel that we talked about before. And snap around the bottom horizontal. And you can slide these left or right to match up to your window opening and your outer blanket. If you move them sideways, it'll hold them nice and tight. This is one of the unique things about our window system, is that you're able to position them all the way open, all the way closed, or anywhere in between, and they'll sit there and stay there, but you can move them quietly. Luke is going to hook the one up on the door end now. You lay the flat side of the straw blanket against the blind.
Bungee up with that.
You'll notice little connection hoops and loops that go onto those set screws that we talked about in the very beginning. Having those set screws facing in on the blind frame. And this is why. This is how we make our hookup on the end blanket. Keep the end blanket pretty close to centered when you bring it on. And at each horizontal you'll have a set screw that you can hook your bungee loop to. Can be hooked up in a matter of a couple minutes. Luke is just going inside to reposition the window so it fits the opening correctly. Just by sliding his bungees sideways, you can get it just about perfect. Now we'll put the door blanket on. Start on the bottom in the same way we did the window end.
Right, Nick.
When you go to hang this blanket on, make sure that that door is in the closed position. That horizontal is laying over next to the hoop. Then you can hook your blanket up. That door frame is in two sections. You got one marked the top and one marked the bottom.
Take these out.
Take that bolt out. There's a hem sewn in the edge of your door blanket for the curved hoop section to go through. Put the head of the bolt on the inside. And again, the head of your bolt goes on the inside on the bottom. Yeah, get your cylinder blanket positioned to put it on the blind. It has a large opening for the shooting panel, and the guys have that facing at the shooting panel right now. You'll see as soon as they open it up.
Oh, it's pretty close.
Now you got just a little bit of adjustment. Bring the grass fringe down just below that top bar, and we're ready to hook it up. There's 4 hookups on the bottom of each cylinder blanket. 2 longer ones and 2 shorter ones. The shorter ones are on the end. And they go to the set screw on the hoop. And the longer ones go up to that horizontal that's right below the windows. Once you're hooked up on that side, it works best to have one person on each side, and you kind of work your way around the blind, pulling and tightening as you go.
Good to me?
Yeah. And I'll just tip it up here for him to hook up the 4 loops on this side. All right, let's raise our shooting window now and hook it in the catches up there, Luke. Okay, it's in the up position now. So now you'll see we got a little gap down here. And what you'll do with your cylinder blanket is come right above where the bungee connectors are and make a hole in the shooting panel with your finger and stick these bungees through there. And then Luke's on the inside, and he's going to put a little stretch on them and bring them up to the fencing on the bottom side of the shooting panel. There's 3 bungee loops up on top to hold the top of your window opening correctly to the frames.
Connect all 3 loops to the horizontal crossbar.
So when you're goose hunting and you're sitting in your chair, you can actually watch the birds coming in through the straw blanket. It's a thinner layer of it than what we use on the rest of the blind. And you can also stand and watch through the grass and get a great view of them coming in. It's really good concealment, and the deployment of the window works really well. You can get on birds in a hurry. And I'll just show you how we're going to drop this window from the inside here. Just reach up and down with it and step into your opening for your shot. Yeah. What I'm holding right here is the conversion panel that'll convert your waterfowl blind back into your deer and turkey blind. And all that it takes to do to install this is lay it on top of your shooting window, and this will get your barrier for light coming in, and it also makes it watertight again. And you just snap this in place, and then we take a cable tie or electrical wire and wire the shooting panel in the closed position, and you got a deer and turkey blind. And this comes with your kit included with the blind. All you have to do is hook it up on this bar here. Then hold it forward out to here, and then bring your window up underneath it. And then wire your panel closed on either end. Just a little trick on hooking your door up from the outside. I mean, you can try and stretch it and work in through the opening, but an easy way to do it is to just bring your door closed and reach inside the window. You can see where I'm reaching here. Locate by feeling, locate your set screw in there and hook it up. And then open it, do the same thing. Come in from the outside, grab your loop.
You now have a fully functional waterfowl blind that you can use for years to come. We hope you enjoy this blind and check out our other products at bailblinds.com.